most stunning fossils that students are exposed to are those of the dinosaurs, because there are these enormous, magnificent creatures. And these science museums are just filled with dinosaur skeletons that have been rearticulated, put back together into their original shape. So you look at these creatures, and the students' brains are trained to connect the idea of a dinosaur with millions and billions of years. So they see the bones, and that's immediately what they think. They connect the two concepts together. But there's nothing about these bones that indicate time. These are simply creatures that lived before the flood. They died during this worldwide catastrophe of world history, and their bones are always found buried, often jumbled together, ripped apart in massive heaps in the rock layers that were laid down by this world restructuring event. See, evolution has to explain all of life somehow as if it made itself. So where did birds come from? Well, if you don't want to believe God made birds, the only option is that something else turned into a bird. So you look around and you say, well, what kind of stands on two legs and runs around? And they've settled on dinosaurs. Dinosaurs turned into birds. So is that a story, or is it reality? Well, let's look at the evidence we find here in this museum. They found dinosaurs with various forms and shapes, and they'll line them up. At this end, they've got dinosaurs that run around on two legs, and at the far end, they've got fully formed birds like pelicans and such. Well, the most famous supposed link between a dinosaur and a bird is a bird called Archaeopteryx. But as you understand the evidence, what you actually have with Archaeopteryx is a bird that was fully formed, fully functional as a bird. It had fully formed feathers, fully formed wings. Its respiratory system had been totally different than a reptile. So it was a bird that had some characteristics that aren't common to modern birds. It had socketed teeth, claws on its wings, various things of that sort. But in the same display, they say, well, there was a dinosaur that was also a bird 40 million years earlier than that. Well, how can Archaeopteryx be the first bird when they're saying dinosaurs were birds 40 million years earlier? But when you look at the display, you'll notice what it says. It said it probably had feathers. These earlier creatures that are lining up are simply dinosaurs, and they're pretending that they had feathers, and then all of a sudden you have a fully formed bird that is found in the fossils that flies around and has wings and tail feathers and just a few other features that aren't common with birds. Just like a platypus lays leathery eggs, and it has a variety of features of things other than mammals, but it's a fully formed, fully functional mammal. When you look at feathers, what you see is an unbelievably, remarkably engineered system of lightweight structural strength for flight. You have little barbs that link and hold the veins of feathers together so that they resist the movement of air and form almost like a solid structure to shove the air forward as a bird flaps its wings. Now look at the entire structure of a wing. It is phenomenally well designed specifically for flight. Now I want you to just imagine, how does the scale of a snake or a lizard or a reptile turn into that? By randomly changing a letter at a time of its DNA programming. It is a mind-boggling belief system, and yet throughout science classes, science books, and museums such as this, it's presented just as an absolute fact of history, without an iota of evidence supporting the reality that this miraculous transformation could have taken place all by itself.